perfume, cologne, hairspray. These items were as essential to a 1980s teenager in Sackville as a shirt or a pair of pants. And today, I'm going to tell you about the time I tried to impress a girl in the Sackville High School cafeteria, and it ended very, very badly. This week on Sackville Sunday Stories. There's a scene in the film Anchorman where Brian Fantana says it's time to musk up and hits his elbow onto a shelf and opens up a cabinet filled with various colognes. Ron Burgundy says, "Oh, what will you go with tonight? London Gentleman or Blackbeard's Delight?" That was done for comedy, but it was really based on what people did, especially teenagers in the 1980s, especially in Sackville, and especially at Sackville High School. You see, colognes and perfumes were almost a currency, okay? Everything was decadent. Everything was, let's do it to the 10th degree. Let's do it as crazy as we can, okay? Girls and guys had huge hair. Large amounts of money were spent on hairspray. Large amounts of money were spent on gel, right? A lot of times a guy would put too much gel in his hair and we'd say, oh, look, he's got a gel mitt, right? Like, because it was hard as a rock. Girls would try to show off by having the biggest hairstyle they possibly could. We call them the HHP, the high hair posse. A guy would go out and buy colognes, like a lot of colognes. Like, you wouldn't just have a bottle. You would have a wide variety. You'd have a selection. You'd have a selection on your dresser, and then you would have another few bottles in your locker. Okay, we all know guys that like had their first string at home and they had the second string so they could touch up between classes in their locker. We had Calvin Klein Eternity, CK1, United Colors of Benetton. Girls wore L'air du Temps, Egoiste, Exclamation. There were a lot of perfumes and colognes that everybody wore. Just a massive amount. I can't stress this enough. Like, we were so obsessed with cologne, like one of the most popular colognes was Calvin Klein Obsession. It was crazy. I'm convinced that businesses and offices have scent-free policies now because of the teenagers from Sackville in the 80s. Like, some guy, class of 88, gets his first job, walks into the office, he's like, I'm here, and they're like, oh my God. That guy put his cologne on with like a crop duster. Like, it was heavy. I overheard a conversation once in the cafeteria. A girl said, I really love it when Dave comes over because I can smell him 2 days after he's gone. 2 days. I can't stress this enough. What was your cologne or perfume? Type it in the comments below. What was the one that got you going? Ralph Lauren Polo was huge in 87, 88, like huge. When Calvin Klein Eternity came out, Larry McDonald got it. He was the first one that I knew that got it, Larry McDonald. And he didn't like wear it to school. He brought it to school to show, like, it was a currency, okay? I'm having a hard time really stressing how important scents were. And they would go to their lockers between classes and touch up. Put some more on. Our classes were 105 minutes. It's not like we were like off for a weekend. Touch-ups were frequent. Anyhow, this story hinges upon that foundation of scents. I was in the high school cafeteria, Sackville High School, 89. There was a girl there that I thought was really cute and I liked her. She was reading a Cosmopolitan magazine. She's flipping through the magazine. All these questions and silly things. But there was a card in there for a perfume for ladies. Christian Dior. Poison. Poison was the name. They had really aggressive names back then. She was like, I would love to have this. And in the 1980s, if you wanted to impress a lady with a gift, the greatest gift that you could give her would be a bottle of perfume. And if you wanted to go over the top, like over the top, You got her a gun bear. A gun was a brand of teddy bears that were highly sought after. If you bought a girl a teddy bear, she would like it. But she would like look at it and she would like flip it around looking for the gun. And if there was no gun tag, she'd be like, oh. But if it was a gunned, she would love it. So you got her a gun and perfume. That was the greatest gift that you could give a woman. So she's like, I'd really like this poison. And I've learned at my age now, like, don't try to be anything you're not. And I am not smooth, nor am I suave. But in that moment, when she said that, I said, this is the time for me to be smooth and suave. Let's bust it out. And I took the card out. And I tried to say something cool and do something cool. I was like, well, why don't we try it out first? Something stupid like that. And my intention was, I would take the card and I was going to just gently slide it across her neck so she could have the scent on her. Now, I misjudged slightly. So when I said, why don't you try it out? And I slid it across her neck, I gave her a massive paper cut from here to here. Like, do you ever have a paper cut on your hand? It hurts a lot. But this was a slice of paper that was coated in 1980s potent Christian Dior poison perfume. So that made it worse. So she's like, ah, 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 and her eyes turned all red and she started tearing up. I felt awful. And I was like, oh no, what do I do? We hadn't invented bottled water at that point, right? We didn't have, like, at that time, if someone was like, oh, you can buy a bottle of water, we'd be like, oh, what a pretentious idiot you are. Water's free, you can get it from the fountains. So all I had was a can of Coke Classic, 280 milliliters. And I was like, here, put this on your neck. And I'm like jamming it in her face. And she's like, no, get away from me. I felt that big. She married somebody else now. But don't try to be something you're not. If you're not dope, smooth, and fly, don't go down that road, because it always ends badly for me. I'm a goofy nerd. That's my wheelhouse. I got to stay in there. So anyway, her friends came over and just rushed her off to the ladies' room because, you know, she was hacking and coughing and all that. Her friends were awesome. Her friends were spot on. They were like, let's get her out of here, and they rushed her off. Anyway, I felt terrible. But that was the power of perfume and cologne back in those days. Put your favorite cologne in below. That's it for this week's Sackville Sunday Stories. I will see you next Sunday. This channel is for you, whether you're an old school Sack villain or a new school Sack vegan. Check us out Sundays on Sackville Sunday Stories.